Welcome to the Weekend Chats with Joanna Ruth and Xanthia Chilio.
Join the Millennial Force WhatsApp community via our website and wait for the Zoom link.
Join us on Zoom and be part of the conversation.
Healing into harmony, feeling and community, made for you, of course, by Millennial Force.
On the recording, we got to, I was explaining about in Israel and the metaphysical and the physical, and then we're about to launch into the examples globally of this time of turmoil and how we're going to see it, like the metaphysical and the physical. They're feeling very confronted and agitated by this pending change. Then there's the other side of the society here that are not religious Jews. They're secular Jews, and they don't get any supports necessarily the way that the Haredi Jews get. And they have to sacrifice their children for the physical protection of the people of the nation. The religious Jews, the Haredi Jews, they get protected too by the army.
They get the signals, they go to the bomb shelters.
Of course, They live as part of Israeli society and they get protection from the police and the army, etc. But they're exempt from having to participate currently.
If we have the understanding that metaphysical is first, isn't their job just as important as fighting physically?
Well, yes and no, because it's about, when you pray, it's about the quality of your prayer. So there is a contention that the Haredi Jews are leaning on the side of the action and not the quality of the action, because the physical world is the proof and it looks like they are spiritual. They may just be doing the actions. How can you tell? We're not quite in the frequency band. Like, I mean, I could tell if I talk to someone, I can tell if they're inhibited from connecting with the source. I mean, I can tell when I'm in Melbourne too. There's lots of people who pray every day and they do lots of mitzvot. I like now their doorways are open to their mental field, and the opposition comes in and messes with them and convinces them to do something else. It's not that they don't yearn to be connected with God or the cosmic love and truth. It's just that they haven't understood what they have to do to make sure that they're always in line. There's a tradition called Teshuvah, or Tshuva in Yiddish, which is the same as Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono proving that it's clear.
In Christian terms, it's repentance.
Yeah, and so Christians will say it's repentance. So when people think about the word repentance, they actually don't think about the action that you have to take to be able to, in truth, tell the cosmic force that it won't happen again. As far as the tradition in Christianity is, if you say you're sorry, you are sorry. You know, you do reparations as best you can, and you speak with the Creator and tell the Creator you're sorry. But repentance in action today is without that last step. So the last step, which is outlined in Scripture, the instructions are there, and the Hawaiians have it in their oral culture. And the rest of the world have been indoctrinated by the biblical story. The modern world have the biblical story as their foundation. And in the Old Testament, which is what Yeshua or Jesus actually practiced, tried to extend from in his own practice, was to not just take the actions of prayer and sacrifice and reparations in the physical world, but actually work in the fourth dimension as well, because he understood that the river only flows in one direction. And if you just do everything on a physical level, you're not going to affect change. In Jewish concept, the focus is on the physical world. So you do a wrong thing to another person, then you must do tshuva, which means you have to identify you did the wrong thing, go and say you're sorry, ask for forgiveness from them. You can ask 3 times, and if they negate it 3 times, then it's on them. But there also has this last part that also gets ignored, which the Hawaiians don't ignore. You have to remember that the indigenous peoples of the world had the pressure of being isolated, not having medicinal services. They had natural medicine that was used more preventatively. They had actually pressure of non-existence to understand how far you have to take this returning to the creative alignment, because otherwise they would die. The Hawaiian tradition, which hasn't been broken in terms of what it is or the lineage being broken, the Hawaiians never broke into warring with each other. Their history basically demonstrates that when you land in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and you can't go back because you need every single person, you need the whole group to go back, and you need all the canoes filled with food to make it back to the land. And what if you don't? What if you go slightly in the wrong direction and you don't? Right? So they had the pressure of survival. They're isolated. They were a very, very small group when they started, and they instituted what we now have as the Hawaiian tradition of ho'oponopono. They made it non-optional. They made it as part of their society, which is probably something that previous iterations of their ancestors allowed, like everyone else. The Israelites, the Hebrews, they allowed the opposition to come in. Christianity allowed the opposition to come in by cutting corners. The Hawaiians never cut corners because they knew they had to be in absolute alignment with the creative force of love and truth, or they will physically not be here. So they have to use that ultimate source of power to be in alignment and be safe. They lived as the river only flows in one direction, and they want a clean lake at the bottom. They want to survive. They don't want the dirt coming down. They don't want any infiltration of the opposition because they have no saving grace, other than God. They were alone in the middle of the ocean on an island that they had to plant the trees, the food and everything. They brought taro plants with them to plant. They had to start from scratch. They had no one to run to. So they've just had the cosmic love and truth. And so they lived like that. Hundreds and hundreds of years. Their communities grew, and when they got to a certain capacity, some of them would go into the next valley and start building the community in the next valley. So they kept their community, their valley communities, very small, just at capacity, and then they would go around, and then they discover other islands.
A suburb or a street now, like we don't even have micro.
But they were self-governing within each valley, which kept the communities not growing too big. Like we have cities, as soon as you get past about 150 people get lost, people stop speaking, no contribution. So that's something we have to think about in our future, in how we restructure after all the turmoil settles down and choices have been made and the effects of those choices have been
and we
lived.
have to recognize it's on us now. The government isn't going to be the solution maker. They're not even going to be able to understand what's going on.
The government will be in the pile of people who choose not to ascend. There will be two worlds in the same space. There will be people who are resisting the adaptation because it's going to happen too quick for them. They're mentally lazy. They don't have belief in something greater than their own individuated mind, and they need to be told what to do by the government because they're not doing it themselves. They need external motivation and rules, etc., because they have succumbed to the opposition. They don't have spiritual autonomy, but they think they probably do. They think they're in charge. Then they'll complain a lot as they suffer more and more and more, and they will lean on the technology, and the governments will have the technology, etc., etc. So it's not about the fact that we will physically not see them. We'll see them, but mentally we will be on a completely different perception. So we will be able to pick and choose our access to the technology, but we won't choose all. We won't choose it all. We won't lose. Hold on to the treasure of your right hemisphere, your creativity, your link to the cosmos, and you perceive the world through a whole brain perception, and you want to use all of yourself, complete part of the oneness experience. You'll pick and choose from what's available physically in society, but you just won't be addicted to it. You'll still be doing preventative actions like making sure that you're not carrying heavy frequencies that are full of destruction. The creative love and truth is life-giving. That's the source of life. That's the life force. Look at every label that's being given to the creative force. It's all about creative. It's all about growing. It's all about building. The opposition is the opposition. It's the opposite, which means it's either life with the cosmic love and truth, or it's death. Maybe slow, but it's still death. So if you don't choose to understand the cosmic love and truth and align yourself to it as we ascend, the planet is trying to get you to adapt to its new frequency band. If you're not choosing that, you are choosing death. By allowing those subconscious thoughts of destruction to remain in your system by not proactively seeking them to shine the power of consciousness, creative, cosmic consciousness on that, the truth on that, by not finding the lies and administering the powerful truth to it, blow it apart, you're consenting to keeping it, which means you're consenting to the destruction of your body, which is the end point. Yeah, your body and the world around you. We are creative beings, so we're going to create, and subconscious creation is more powerful than conscious creation because it runs no matter what. And when it's triggered, you have no choice but to let it run. My process of doing the cleaning, the identifying and then the cleaning, because I didn't have a person observing me and giving me feedback like I do for you. So I make your process much faster because I had to play that role for myself. I had to observe myself. And the only way you can truly observe yourself when you have compulsive behavior is you have to force yourself with your will, which is your conscious awareness, to not allow that compulsive thought to manifest in the physical world. You have to hold it, like holding your breath, like holding a fart, like not vomiting. You have to hold it in your system. It's horrible, absolutely horrible to hold that negative polarity energy that's stuck. You're forcing it to stick inside your system. You are like imprisoning it in your system for the purpose of noticing what it is. Yeah, you're putting it in the naughty corner and watching what it wants you to do, and you're not letting it happen. You're not letting it fulfill itself. And that is almost too hard for people. So when people say, oh, but you stepped away from life, you didn't have to cope with things in your life. Yes, but I had to cope with that. That's why I couldn't have students. That's why I couldn't hold down a job. Why? Because my first job was when I'm triggered, I have to hold that compulsive behavior. I had to hold it in myself. I was not going to let it go from energy in my body out into the world. I was not going to tell a lie. I was not going to cry, or I was not going to yell and scream, or I was not going to pay out on someone, or whatever it was compelling me to do. I was not going to hide. Whatever it was compelling me to do, cry because you're a victim. No. Not because I'm a victim. I'm happy to cry. I'm happy to learn to cry. And I did. I learned to cry, but not because I'm a victim. So this is somatic metacognition at its finest. It's the hardest thing to do.
It really is. And I thought I was doing it, but I was not. We let ourselves off the hook all the time.
So me explaining how I did it without someone giving me a mirror, right? So I would let life be a mirror for me, but then I had to take on the responsibility of not letting that compulsive behavior manifest so that I could find out what it wanted to do, and I wouldn't let it do it. Just battle with that compulsive thought that was trying to manifest, and I wouldn't let it manifest, but I was listening to it. I was being the parent and the child at the same time, which is almost impossible for people to do. I have no idea how I did it. It was kind of like desperation. How else am I going to find it? So compare that to your experience where you have me watching your compulsive behavior and then feeding it back to you so that you can see it, because you didn't have to hold it in your body. You allowed the action through because it's too hard, right? That skill, and you had me to actually observe it. You actually allowed it to come forward into the physical, but then you told me about it, or I would see it, I'd feel it, I would tell it back to you so you understood.
Yes, that was really powerful because my inner child was so strong and just was ruling the roost, and I didn't have any parenting skills. I didn't have a good role model, like either mum or dad as a parent. So, and I also didn't have the experience of that unconditional, like, of course I felt loved, but not unconditionally. I probably didn't have that fortitude that you had, knowing that you could feel that unconditional love. I had nothing to chase for. I knew that there was more out there. I did have the intellect to know that I've got wounds here. I have to I didn't know how to actually get rid of them until you were there. That's the powerful part in all of this, because you can keep telling yourself the stories, the perception. That's the opposition when we're talking about it.
Yeah, it's tricking you so that you see something different, and you can believe something that isn't true because you haven't seen the truth. So when I observe you without reacting,
I'm taking more responsibility.
You kind of have to. I'm letting you react, compulsively behave, and I'm watching it without reaction. So I'm loving you anyway. I'm not halting you. I'm not taking your attention away from what you're doing, and I'm observing the whole thing. And then when it's calmed down, then I will tell you what I saw and what I felt, and it's a full spectrum experiential retelling to you. And then you can compare, can you not? Confirm whether I'm right. You can compare what you perceived and what I perceive. Because there's a part of you that goes, oh yeah, that's also true. So there can't be two truths. Can't be two truths. Yeah, there's only one. And if I'm clear and I have no agenda other than to love you and help you.
That's it. Because Joe, usually I trigger the other person and then it ends up in a fight. They're not fully clear, and then that usual battle between the opposition. They can't or hold that capacity to be a mirror.
Without judgment. A mirror that has no judgment.
Like safe space. It's very rare.
Yeah. Do you remember when I was telling you what you're doing, when Arek was there, and I'm telling you what your ego's doing? I'm saying to you, I have no advantage in putting so much effort into explaining this to you other than telling you the truth so that you can fix it.
Exactly.
And you couldn't get out of it because you had someone else listening, watching what you're doing and listening to what I'm telling you, and so you couldn't get away from it, deflecting the responsibilities and avoiding and hiding and, you know, regressing in age kind of thing, because you're showing off to your friend and then he's confirming, yeah, I think that's true. and I thought, wow, this is a really wild experience. And you even did a talk to camera afterwards. It was quite amazing to watch, like, because I remember, we don't have footage of that discussion, like, because it was live, it was in person. I remember what you felt like I'm reading your feelings in your frequency coming out of your body when I'm telling you this stuff. I noticed the point where we moved the discussion from me sitting in my office and you at the doorway, and then we were moving towards the door because you guys needed to go, but you still hadn't got it. You still hadn't clicked. Like you were still holding, your ego was holding its position. And then I said to you, I can't have you stand next to me and have another person trust you because they trust me if your ego is going to do this. If your ego is going to take over and give you compulsive behavior where you're not in line with what you're meant to stay doing, it's going to take you off your line. I can't have you there next to me. You have to stay off the stage, and I want you to be on the stage with me because I want you to reach that point of clarity so that you can, and we can share the work. And I want to show people that young people have the capacity to grow themselves. I don't want them to make an excuse, oh, but you're 53, oh, but you stepped away from your life, oh, but you're this, oh, but you're that. It's not oh, but. We're all human beings. We all have the capacity to do this. There's no this or that. We're all in it together. Like from now till forever, we're all in it together. We don't leave people behind. I don't excuse anyone. There's no reason why you can't do this. Unless you're brain damaged, you can do this. The only thing that stops you is that you don't have the mental capacity. So you've either damaged yourself or something has damaged your brain and you haven't got the process of working right. That's the only thing that would stop you from this kind of healing and stepping forward to be able to make the choice to come with us. And the other thing that stops you is that your soul has decided not to ascend, or you haven't recognized that you have decided to ascend, because the story is already written before we come. We just got to realize what our story is. And if you're drawn to what we're talking about, then likely your soul already chose that this is work that you have to do. And whether you do it with us or you don't do it with us doesn't really make a difference to me. I just want you to get there. By the time I'm on my physical deathbed, I would really like to see so many people of your generation actioning this, taking the responsibility, but in supportive communities.
Exactly. We have to be the leaders now. It's time to rise up.
But to do that, people really have to start to understand the reality of life is metaphysical first. It just is. It's not an optional way to think about life, because the cosmic forces we come back to the outer planet astrology. The cosmic forces have made the decision for us. We either adapt to the new frequency environment or we don't. That's the only choice that we have now. So I can't make the choice for a person, but I can certainly be there and provide what that person needs once they've made that choice. So I can't choose for a person and I can't make the healing happen for a person, but I can certainly help you understand the situation that you're in. I can help you understand how it works and what skills you need to build, what responsibilities you need to take, and how you can start to do all of those things. At the moment, it's kind of all on me because I'm training you, and then I'll be training other people who can also join the teachers section of the community. And that takes apprenticing, and in time gives you opportunity to find all the little fine-tuning parts. People say, oh, time heals. It's not the time that heals. The time just gives you an opportunity to find what needs healing and heal it. That's why apprenticing is really important, because it puts you on a fast track. We're doing our best to apprentice you while I'm not in Melbourne and while I am in Melbourne, and we happen to be able to live in the same space, so we're taking advantage of that, working very closely together so that whenever your mood dips, trouble getting something done, we can work together to shine that light around and see what's hiding, and so it's getting faster and faster and more responsibility taken by you, which is great. And that's part of your learning process, because it's not just about getting it done for you. Some people will have it done for them because they're not meant to be teachers. But if you're meant to be a leader or a teacher in our community or just generally, you need to go through your paces a little bit. You need to understand the context of the healing, but you don't have to do it completely on your own, and find your teachers, and we have to really band together. And I think that's why we record these conversations, so people can understand our context. It's not just me teaching a class to you. We've become soul family, and we're just helping it happen.
Being together, doing it together fully.
Yeah, community. It's essential. If people feel very alone because they feel like they're the black sheep of their family, so now we're making a family of all the black sheep. So black is the new thing, right? Black sheeping is the new thing, and we're all really kind of weird together. But when you're weird together, you're not weird anymore.
As long as you recognize you have a soul and there's more to life than what's in the physical, you're in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. As long as you want to be part of the future, this more connected way of living, it's more satisfying. It's recognizing once again our complete selves. We have cosmic power, but we also have cosmic responsibility. If anyone wants to understand what our cosmic responsibility is, I highly recommend that you listen to series 1 and 2, if you wish, of the telepathy tapes, because there's a section in there where one of the young men explained, and maybe it came through twice in different episodes, you won't be allowed into, it's like a cosmic allowance. It's not like a physical person allowing you.
Starting it. They don't want it to.
Yes, because you're not allowed to be in a telepathic environment if you're going to have destruction. You can't have any opposition working through you. You can't have any frequency magnets implanted in you. You can't have any doors open to that mental space. You cannot be allowed to make other people vulnerable because you have a compulsive thought that is driving you into compulsive behavior, because the world is going to be more of thought than it is of the physical. At the moment, we're at the bottom end, 3D and then 4D, touching 5. So what happens if we get halfway up out of 3D? So now we're only halfway. We've got half of the 3D, all of the 4D, and then that part that we left down here, we're up the top, we're into the 5D, the unity consciousness. So we're basically working in the 4th dimension, which is to do with time and memory and imagination and thought. So your thoughts have to be recognized as powerful things, because we still have the power of our heart space. Like, I'm so sensitive to people's opposition thoughts when they're empowered by an intensity in the heart space. So the way that trauma or these frequency magnets enter into our human system is because we have a really tall peak in our nervous system, which means it's either a lot of fear or it's a lot of love, a lot of joy. Yeah, so fear or joy. Most of the time it's fear and we call it a trauma. Sometimes it's joy and it's a blessing, it's a miracle. Whichever way it happens, doesn't matter, it's the same system. When your nervous system peaks like that, whatever is happening in the context around you is catalogued. Whatever you conclude from that context and that interaction, what caused the peak, that is installed via language in your mental system. So that's the story. The peaking of your nervous system means your heart was involved. It's empowered, really powerful to push your nervous system to peak, which means that's like the glue that sticks the thought into you. Yeah, so and because it's a trauma, it can be triggered. Well, how is it triggered? It's triggered by the context reminding you. So your today context is reminding you of that previous context, and then the power of your your nervous system goes up again. Alert, alert. And the compulsive behavior comes from that language instruction that is stuck to that emotional trigger. Yeah, so when it's triggered, your heart space is empowered. The power of your heart is enormous compared to the power of your mind, your brain. Yeah, electromagnetic power. So when you are triggered, you are pulsing that thought that is attached to it out of your aura into the world. For example, there is a person who is in my world sometimes, and when I'm in his presence, he's triggered by me for whatever reason, whether it's love or fear, I don't know, but his heart space goes whoosh, and his heart races in his body, and my body is instructed by the instruction that he's following as well.
When it's somebody else's behavior that triggers you.
So in that case, it's not the behavior of the person, it's the thought behavior, the subconscious trigger of the thought behavior. So we have to start understanding our concept of future life has to encompass not just physical behavior, but thought behavior.
The destructive thought or the compulsive thought in them that we are, our body.
Well, it depends. Well, yes, your body is going to pick it up whether you understand that or not. If their electromagnetic field is powerful and broad, little waves turn into a tsunami. Think of it like a calm state of an ocean. Sometimes the ocean is very calm, and then all of a sudden there's an eruption underneath. Because this is what's happening in the world. It's also going to happen in humans. So this is interesting that we're coming back full circle to where we started with this agitated state. A person is agitated by something. The world is agitated by something. It goes from a calm ocean with an eruption underneath it, like an earthquake underneath it, and it turns into a tsunami. Right? So huge waves going all different directions and banging and smashing, and there's destruction everywhere. The power comes from the trigger. This is very powerful. Now, whatever information is flowing on those big, powerful waves that the human mind has attached to that trigger, like I need your love, or I need you to leave me alone, or I need to be hidden, or I need whatever you need, because you're feeling a lack of something. You feel lack of security, a lack of love, or lack of something. So I need, and you've got an idea of what you need. This is what you concluded in that first moment when you were traumatized. Whatever you concluded, that's the instruction. And so that instruction is being powered into your vicinity with these enormous waves. And if you're in a close enough proximity, or if you're a bit of a receiver and the thought is attached with your name is like your spiritual IP address. If you have a trigger specific to you and that person attaches your name to that instruction, I've had people do that to me from the other side of the planet because they're thinking of me and they've got the compulsive thought, whatever they're triggered, and they're charged. Massive waves turns into a non-local experience. I mean, I was sitting for 2 days, I was sitting in an environment where another person in that environment was having enormous waves being triggered. His compulsive thought is so needy and so disheveled, and he couldn't get his thought. It was chaos. It was chaos. I was sitting in a chaotic frequency environment for 2 days, and I came out of that with minor physical injuries. I came out of that with exhaustion because I was trying to protect myself. Metaphysically, I was trying to hold myself in the truth. It's like I was standing in that ocean that was smashing around with chaos around me. And so this is a very real thing. And people are currently saying, oh, that's just you. That's how it affects you. But I'm like the canary in the coal mine. Right? I'm really sensitive, which means I can pick up what's happening. It's happening to everyone, but they don't know it. Don't know what's happening. I'm so tired today. Why am I so tired today? Well, what were you doing yesterday? Who were you around yesterday? Anyone in a particularly bad, shitty mood yesterday and you couldn't get away from them?
I had dreams, or I feel like my digestion's out, or something's,
Right, so the river only flows one way. Physical bodies demonstrate to us what's happening in our metaphysical body, which is our mind body. So we need to start understanding that it is our responsibility to remove those compulsive triggers because they do affect people. They affect everyone. And if you have a person in that conclusion, if you identify a particular person when you're obsessively activating that thought, so it's subconscious, but you know that your mind's going, but you can't stop it. Right?
Yep.
You need to attend to that responsibly outside of that triggered environment. So you have all of yourself and perhaps work with someone who can help you nip it in the bud and find out what it really is so that you have full awareness of it. And then you take a responsibility on. Your cosmic responsibility is to be in line with the cosmic love and cosmic truth. And as the planet rises, we have a greater and greater urgency to attend to that responsibility. But where we are now, the next step is just to understand that your thought actions are as impacting as your physical actions. That's number one, to understand that.
To be honest, you could see that evolving already in the workplace. Now there's psychosocial harm, which is considered just as bad as cutting off your arm at a workplace health and safety incident. So we understand that bullying and emotional abuse and narcissism in the workplace is bad. Now take that out to your personal life and everywhere
and anywhere. And the planet is a being as well. It's not a human being, but it is readjusting and adapting, just like we have to readjust and we have to adapt. The problem is that the planet doesn't have free will. We do. We are the only beings on the planet that have free will. We can say, no, I'm not adapting. I'm not changing. I'm good. So the person that I was in his aura, his chaotic aura for 2 days, that I ended up feeling absolutely exhausted by trying to protect myself and not fall down into that frequency. And I had minor injuries like in my eye and my feet and things like that. So my body was showing me the resistance I was having to consciously put up to not fall into that chaos. I am well aware, and it's come through to me, I'm well aware that this person, he's too old, his age bracket is very inhibitive of him making a decision to move into the process of doing that cleaning. Well, he's got 75 years behind him, which means he's probably only got another 10 or 15 ahead of him, if he's lucky. And they're not going to be that pleasant because he's already exhausted. His body is already exhausted from all of this chaotic influence that he's allowed to be in there. But he hasn't understood that he's allowed it to be in there. It's just in there. He hasn't even made that first step of taking responsibility for his thought action. So I understand there is younger people have more of an incentive to get on with it because like it changes your life so much. The experience of your life changes so much when you remove those compulsive behaviors. You feel free. You feel light. You feel like you're supported. Like the cosmic love and truth is your backup and you're not going to be messed with as much. You're not going to be taken off course all the time. But if you're in your 30s, you know you've got 60 odd years left potentially. It's worth putting in the effort when you're young. Can you imagine if you think you're on the tail end? Is it worth putting in the effort? Maybe not. There's all these things happening in society where medications are drugging you out of life and there are structures where you can just go to Canada and say, I'll die tomorrow. I'll leave tomorrow.
Mental health act that they can do, they can just find you and just put you into a psych ward. Like it's just so
Yeah.
bad over there. Like I hope
I mean,
Australia.
it's intense, very, very intense there. So the modern world is giving you options to be irresponsible cosmically, but the cosmos is giving you an opportunity to be responsible. And that's the choice point. Are you going to be responsible? Are you going to be cosmically responsible? That's all. And if you say yes, I am going to be cosmically responsible, then your teacher will arrive, like Millennial Force will arrive in your life, or someone else will arrive in your life and be there to support you in that action. The decision to be cosmically responsible comes first. No one has time to chase you down anymore. Time for trying to help everybody is over. This is a situation, everyone's in the same boat. You have to take responsibility or not. If you take responsibility, you're choosing to stay on the future train. You deny your responsibility, you'll be staying here, living out your life. It won't be easy. You'll have to use drugs and technology, etc., to sustain life because you'll have less and less support cosmically.
Put your head in the
And
sand.
many people will choose that option. I'm not unaware. I get a feeling we're going to go down to about 10 to 15% population than what we have now on the planet, which is really shocking. Like, I don't know where that number comes from for me. Like, it's not, I don't want that number to be true. Like, if it was little me divvying things up, I'd guess about half, but it's not.
The majority that are choosing not to do it, right? Because they're stuck in their compulsion.
That's right. The majority always wants to stay where they are. They don't trust, they don't believe, they're not adventurers. They're too attached to the physical. They'll want to do hard work. They're mentally lazy. It's like the 75-year-old person who's lived that way their whole life. They think they have good reason to just stay that way. Their opposition convinces them it's better to stay that way. But it isn't. Because if you ascend while you're here, before you die physically and enter just into the metaphysical, your soul gets the opportunity to come back and live in this future world on earth. You have to do it while you're here. If you leave your contract, your body contract, and you go back into the metaphysical without ascending, you will not have the opportunity. I've come to understand it's very important to do it before you die.
That's why near-death experiences, they still got to go, still got a bit more to do. Go back down.
There's a reason. Because if your soul wants to continue on this trajectory, because we've got to understand we're metaphysical first. Our bodies just manifest from a decision that our soul already made. When we're living here on the planet, it's our soul that is driving the show. We are being obedient to the story we agreed to come and live here. The soul wants to have many experiences, just like adventurous humans want to have many experiences. That's just how it is. As above, so below. We are metaphysical first. Get it? Conceptually, it's so hard. I've had to travel a long way to get to really understanding and knowing that. So I understand when people are like butting their head saying, but I've got a body, I am the body. No, you're not the body. Your soul has been assigned a body. Your body is obedient to frequency. And the opposition knows it, knows our system. And while it has opportunity to waylay us so that we don't ascend before we leave this contract, it's going to push us. And that's what's happening now. The agitation is getting greater. Why? To force people to remain in fear, which is opposition to love. It's the conditions. Fear creates the conditions. So while we remain conditional and compromising, we don't ascend. So what do? We get to hang around with the same opposition force in a different environment. When you come back, you're going to have to come back and learn how to stand up to that opposition again and again. And I don't know what the timing is for the other environment. I don't know what the other environment is. There will come another environment, and when it's available, all of those souls will be lining up to come in and do what we've just been doing for 12,000 years of low dense frequency. So we're on the tail end of this. We have the opportunity while we're here to do the work that's required to get to the ascension, but it's not a guarantee. It's not. You have to understand the responsibility is in you. Every individual must take on their cosmic responsibility, whatever you want to call it, whether it's ho'oponopono, it's tshuva, it's repentance, any other language, any other culture, that every single culture has a concept of undoing the damage and coming back into alignment. That's what it is. I don't mind what culture you are. You want to work with me, I'll work with you. I use the earth method. I've transcended all previous cultures, emotional age release, therapy and healing. That's what I've created. I've taken it out of religion. I've taken it out of indigenous cultures. I've practiced it. So it's not just a theory. It's a proven theory from my own experience. My whole entire life has changed in the last 18 to 20 years. I can't live any other way. I am cosmically responsible. I've made myself cosmically responsible. And now that I've made myself cosmically responsible, I have a job to help other people to take on their cosmic responsibility too. This is why we are here, for the reason that we're here. And whether it is your job is just to get yourself to be cosmically responsible and clean up everything and be able to say no to the opposition, even if it's tough on your body, no, that will cause your ascension. Because if you have the ethics inside of you to refuse the opposition, then you will be allowed to enter into a telepathic environment, because you have decided no, opposition, no, not through me. The buck stops here. Yeah, the fear stops here. Bang. This point is the last day that I'm going to have fear running through me, and I'm going to now go through the process of taking my cosmic responsibility in my hands, doing the work required to get to that point where the fear can't run through me. So I don't want it to. I'm going to do the work. Now it can't. I'm protected. That's the process. So how far in the process do you feel you are? Because I know that you're in that process.
Just wrote down one compulsive behavior that I've noticed I am still doing. Not fully there, but I'm way more aware. So little, but I can see it.
Still not a full hand up to the opposition, is it? You got to be completely autonomous and self-empowered to say no, because you're backed up by your cosmic partnership.
It's something that I'm just thinking of now. I've been aware, but I just didn't know to put it up and say no just yet. Spending money when I go for a walk in the morning. Feeling compulsive to buy a coffee or to something to eat. And I've got so much food here, and I've got coffee. That's why I was like, it just wasn't a full no, because I didn't see it as a big problem. But now I'm seeing it because commercialism, I've been trained to buy.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah, absolutely.
So now I'm more aware of it. Like, I don't want that. So now I will bring in cosmic truth to that and be like, am I hungry? Do I really want this?
Am I going to drink this coffee or eat this muffin with cosmic love and truth backing, or is it the opposition that's forcing me into habits?
Yes, exactly. Sugar. That's a big one for me. I'm on the first day of my bleed today. I'm like, oh, I deserve some chocolate. It's like,
I deserve chocolate. I deserve chocolate. Not my body really needs what chocolate's going to give my body to alter my state a little bit. No, I deserve it. It's like really dramatic, isn't it? Dead giveaway that it's the opposition, because it's dramatic. And maybe you do deserve it. It's over dramatized, then you know that it's your ego coming in and telling you a story.
Small ones. Like, we've worked together on really the money cult, inner child, the
belonging, the belonging stuff.
All of those really big ones. So now it's just cleaning it up, and I really feel like this is the home stretch now.
Very encouraging, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's transformational, that's for sure. Meeting somebody where they're at.
And I mean, that's the unconditionality that has to be there, because if you didn't have the unconditional love, if I wasn't channeling the cosmic love, which is unconditional, you wouldn't feel safe enough to face the uncompromising truth. That's why they come as a pair. And if you read my novel, which you have, I have a concept called the three-legged stool, which is unconditional love, uncompromising truth, and a concept of readiness, which is a proactive concept of entering into and completing cycles without question. Be ready, finish it off, all of it, do it to completion, and then you're telling the cosmic love and truth, I'm ready, I'll have a little rest, and then bring me the next bit that I can become aware of. And you just keep cycling through, so that you're always either on that line of truth, or you've been taken off and you're on your way back to that line of truth. You're never just floating aimlessly off the line. So
Right.
you either on it or you've been pulled off, and you're aware and you move back towards it. You do the cleaning and you can say, no, 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 not that one. No, can't walk. No, shut the door. Nope. And then you're back on that line until you've had a little rest, and the cosmic love and truth will bring you another awareness. Like you're aware now, you have space in your mind to realize that you feel like you must treat yourself with something.
I have to go
Well, why
somewhere.
do you
I have
need to be treated? Why do you need to be treated? Why do you need to deserve it? Why do you need to ask yourself lots of different questions? And it's not the answer. The answer is never a problem. All the answers are within you. It's the questions. You've got to get really good at asking yourself questions. Don't just ask the same question. Ask different questions. Always different questions. Don't worry about whether the answers come or not. Just keep asking the questions. The answer that you need will come when you find the right question. And you'll feel, and you'll go, oh, cool. Oh, man. Now I get it. And that's what you want. That's like, oh, the cosmic light. It's come and shone on that thing, and it's standing out like, you know what, on a dog.
Healing into harmony, feeling and community. Made for you, of course, by Millennial Force.
Just when I think I couldn't possibly learn anything more new, bam. Joanna Ruth hits my heart. Hey. Yeah, or my ego.
Ego CEO?
Ego CEO. There's always more to watch. I've got a bit more time. I'm going to watch the next one in the series. Cool. Maybe we can WhatsApp in the group later about it?